into your news, figure out what's going on in the world, the ADD news style. Then we get into a brand new hour of the show. Petty claims court, a relationship hangs in the balance. Some anonymous coming up later this morning as well, as we are live and interactive on this Wednesday. And if you have the day off, good on you. But a lot of people are texting us and saying that they're also working today, so thanks for keeping us company. You're more than welcome. That's why we're here. And let's get into it right now with stuff happening in the world that you may or may not care about. I would imagine there's a Justin Timberlake update.
Grab your Adderall. It's time for ADD News. Is that barbecue sauce? No, it is not.
I hate to admit it, but all the details coming out about Justin Timberlake's DUI are hard to not. It's a black hole that's hard not to go down. Let's just put it that way. And it confirms everything that Vanessa said yesterday, which is that he's an SE person. First off, according to people at the party, he was totally wasted and drinking other people's drinks at the bar, which, if that's true, is so gross. And even as El Cheapo, I have never stooped that low. There was one account where this guy said, I put my drink down and then I went to the bathroom, and then when I came back, he was drinking my drink. And he was either so wasted that he didn't know it wasn't his drink, or that's something that he does often enough at the end of the night. I'm just going to, instead of going to the bar and getting another drink because they've decided to stop serving me, I'm going to finish everyone else's drinks.
Remember, I gave you my theory yesterday about all these public dancers, all these people that like to dance publicly. They're all, they got demons, Ellen and Timberlake.
They're dancing out the demons.
They're trying to dance out the demons, or it's false flag. They're trying to distract away from how they really are. And one of his buddies, I think his good friend, is very similar, Jimmy Fallon. Another guy that likes to publicly dance and smile. And
another, quote, rumored alcoholic.
Right, but another guy that there's been stories about him going to the bars and just finishing everyone's drinks.
And that he came back and had like a messed up hand, and he had some crazy story about...
He fell, got hammered and fell down.
Yeah, which is what happened. So another thing is that the arresting officer... the officer was so young that he didn't even know who Justin Timberlake was. And then Justin Timberlake was like, oh, man, this is going to ruin the tour. And he was like, what tour? And he was like, the world tour.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
And then when they asked him, have you had anything to drink tonight? He said, I've had one martini. Which is a whole separate conversation of, like, what do you tell the cop, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, if you're drunk driving, that's bad. But if you've had, like, 1 or 2 glasses of wine or something, some time has passed, you feel good, you feel sober, but you get pulled over for some kind of traffic violation or whatever, and they ask you, or you're just at a random checkpoint.
Sure. That happens a lot. I get stuck at a checkpoint Ventura quite often.
And you're thinking, like, I had a vodka soda, like, a couple hours ago. It shouldn't matter, but what do I tell the cop?
Right, because whatever you say, you think is going to sound shady. I always think about, do I tell the truth and say I haven't had a drop of alcohol all day? And then they go, that sounds really shady, even if that's the truth.
Why would I have a drop of that God's blood?
So then I think to myself, do I tell them the truth, which is like, I had a drink
So I've done that
dinner?
before.
But then they're like, pull it over.
Yep. So
I'm just convinced I'm not going to be able to do the alphabet backwards or balance on one foot regardless of how sober I am.
I know. I got pulled. It was a checkpoint, and they said, have you had anything to drink? And I said, yeah, I had a glass of wine. And they did a double take. They were like, dirt?
White woman, story checks out.
They were like, move it along. All right, maybe you always wanted to open up your own store, an art gallery, a clothing store, whatever, and it feels impossible because leasing a space in LA is impossible. But your dream could come true if you are willing to open one up in Ontario, because they are doing a pop-up pilot program and charging $1 a month rent for any brick-and-mortar retail spaces in the area. A couple people have already taken advantage of it and opened up their own places. One of them is a vintage sneaker shop, and the extra bonus is that Wi-Fi and utilities are included in the $1 a month rent. And
Where is this located?
Ontario, downtown Ontario.
So we should grab a little Klein Alley Show pop-up shop. $1 a month. I mean, even we can afford those prices.
You know what else I think is, if somebody like Jake, you need a place to live.
Yeah.
Why don't we just have him live there, and then we can put a couple of pictures up, like, it's an art gallery.
Or the gallery is just Jake.
My stuff is art.
No,
Yeah.
you just put Jake in the window, and you put people think it's one of those weird avant-garde art things where they're like, look at weird guy.
They just have one single chair.
Weird guy.
Yeah. You put weird sad music on, and people just stand at the window and watch Jake live and call it an art exhibit.
But also all of his weird stuff.
Yeah, all those octopuses.
Yeah, I feel like his actual place kind of seems like a weird oddities museum. I think it's worth thinking about, Jake.
I'm in.
It's a bit of a hike, though, from here to Oxnard.
Ontario.
Oh, that's not much
That's even
of a
worse.
hike.
Klein Alley Klein Alley Show.
KROQ, the world famous KROQ.
It's KROQ, Klein Alley Show. As we get into a brand new hour coming up in a moment, the song you're listening for is 21 Guns, Green Day. That song will result in you getting a key that could start your Green Day signature Corvette. Someone's getting the car. There are a lot of questions about it on the text line every time we talk about it. Is there a car payment? No, we bought the car. We spent this money. We were going to give it to Jake and say, Jake, get yourself your own apartment now that you're officially breaking up. But instead we said, let's get the listeners a Corvette.
Awesome.
So we got that going for you, and that'll
We just put a naked picture of you on your car and then gave someone else a car.
Yeah, we really
We
double.
spent more money than my car's worth.
Yep.
Take a picture of me on it.
Yep, that's true. We really double screwed you on this one, big time. Regardless, someone's going to get themselves this Green Day signature Corvette. Might as well be you. The song and the key coming up in less than an hour here at KROQ. Let's get to your news right now, and then we get into a brand new hour of the show, complete with Anonymous, where we all get to air our grievances against someone on the show. Here is your news.
Grab your Adderall. It's time for ADD News. Just news it.
Last hour, I told you about unaffordable leases and how one city was trying to combat that by offering dollar rent for people who want to open their own storefront. Now let's talk about unaffordable tuition, a whole separate category. There's more student loan forgiveness in America, but still Americans have millions of dollars worth of student loan debt, and many of them will not be able to pay off that debt in their lifetime. But USC is doing something very interesting. They are offering free tuition for any MFA students that are pursuing acting and writing and anything in the kind of film production world.
Because they know they're never getting money.
Well, that's kind of why. They said, as actors and writers navigate the tightening competition for opportunities in film and television, they want to do something to give people a leg up. And they want to keep it going because right now, people are like, why would I spend all this money on tuition and get my master's in something that then when I graduate, there's not going to be a job for me and I'm going to be struggling for years. I'm not going to be able to pay off the debt. Why is that incentive for me to even go into this industry? So they want to help people at least continue to want to involve themselves in it.
Right, because if
by
not,
giving them free tuition.
20 years from now, you go, there is no, where did the movie industry go?
Yeah.
That, in some ways was the cornerstone of this whole town.
It's kind of like why there's not a lot of pilots, there's not as many cops, because people just don't want to. There's so much stigma around those jobs. There's a lot more pressure around those jobs. Maybe the salary doesn't feel as worth it as it used to be. So people are kind of moving into different career paths
Also,
because they don't feel like it's worth it.
I think a lot of people specifically, pick California schools if they want to go into the industry because they think it puts them around the industry. But little do they know, the industry shifted to Toronto and Atlanta.
Exactly.
So if you're moving here to try to get into the film industry, you're going to have to spend your weekends traveling to Toronto.
They're like, we're all influencers. Go somewhere else.
Yeah, listen, the whole situation is messed up. I guess I'll give them credit for at least attempting to let them know the reality of it is. Do you really want to be... Because you start looking at it, you go, if I'm paying this much to go to college... And even if I have a standard trajectory, don't have a great moment where I run into Steven Spielberg at a Starbucks and he gives me a big break, which is a standard working this gig, then this gig, then this gig, you will be working off that debt for probably the first 20 years after college.
Of course.
And if nothing comes of it, if you never end up getting that big whatever, you are going to be riddled with that debt probably for the rest of your life.
We had, I think, 20 people in our acting conservatory, and one of our first teachers said, realistically, only one of you will make it.
Yeah, but that's...
Out of 20 people.
And none of you did.
And they were wrong.
Well,
They
actually,
overestimated.
somebody I went to school with just won a Tony a couple of days ago.
That's still a loser.
Yeah, but
and
you
another
just,
one is on Succession. So
but-
there are a fair amount of them.
You just sang the national anthem at the Galaxy game.
There we go.
So
there you
everyone-
go, teacher.
So once again, Allie's in the category of those who did not make
I
it.
failed.
But that's all career. I mean, you can always say
It's not all careers, though. The chances of you succeeding in this industry are way lower than other industries.
Allie, I just looked through my kid's yearbook the other day. You know what every kid said every 5-year-old wants to be when they grow up? I looked at the whole list. It's a professional basketball player, probably not going to happen. Astronaut, probably not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Actor, probably not going to happen. Every one of these jobs, you could say to them, but they're dreamers. Let them dream.
Yeah, and the thing is, you can dream, but also, as my dad would tell me, come up with a backup plan.
Yeah, come up with a... Yeah.
Believe in yourself, but only just so much.
Right, smart.
All right, it's Juneteenth. It's a holiday, whether your boss decided to give you the day off or not. Today is the day that slavery officially ended in the United States, which is pretty significant considering how long slavery was in place and how many people fought to keep it. So how should you celebrate a holiday like this? It is a concept that gets talked about every year. And in
Well, we should
general,
have had the day off, to be honest.
well, that's a starter. Yes, absolutely.
And the reason you do the day off isn't so that we can all sleep in, although I would have, and, sit around at home. It's so that everyone realizes you have a moment, you go, why does the world feel different today? And then you're supposed to have a moment where you reflect on how effed up slavery was. And that's the reason for a lot of these holidays.
Yeah, but in general, the hope is that people have options with how they want to celebrate something like this. That can be just literally spending time with your family. Like what Omar's doing, Omar's going to Disneyland with his family. That is perfectly fine for him to just spend time with his family and be thankful for what he has, because that's part of how you celebrate. You could also support a local Black-owned business if you want, or you could go to that big-ass barbecue that takes place in Leimert Park every year. This is the 75th anniversary, so you can celebrate by stuffing your face. The national parks are free today. You can enjoy some free nature. So the point is, there's no wrong way to celebrate it.
Well, I'm sure there is a wrong way to celebrate it.
I mean, I'm sure.
Jake, give us an example of a wrong way to celebrate it. Go
Okay,
ahead.
you ready?
No. All right, we got to go.
Now we have plenty of time.
Klein Alley Show. KROQ.
Who would have thought a song could result in you getting a car? That's what we're doing. It's officially Corvette summer. Thank you, Green Day. Let's give you a Corvette, or at least a key that could start a Green Day signature Corvette. And everybody who gets a key this week from us here, Klein Alley Show, there's the rub, will also be qualified to fly to Boston and check out Green Day at Fenway Park. That will be something you'll probably remember forever, depending on how much you drink. Caller 10 today puts us on line number 4, and that is Taylor. Taylor.
Hey.
Here's the good news. You're caller 10.
Yeah. Woo! I'm super excited. I've literally been trying all week.
So I don't know what your current ride situation is, but this whole thing could result with you having a key that could start a Green Day signature Corvette, and that will be yours to keep.
Yes. Woo! Let's go.
I love that, I've been trying all week, which is only 2 other days.
Yeah, it doesn't really
Right,
need that much effort. Yeah, it sounds better in theory than in reality.
All week, but congrats.
Hey, congratulations.
Oh my brother is seriously the biggest Green Day fan. I'm super excited.
Well, listen, I hope you guys at the very least win this trip. I mean, you have a 1 in 5 chance of winning the trip to go see them in Boston. We'll put you up, we'll fly you out, and you'll get to see them at Fenway Park. You're as good as in on that, so only 2 more people qualifying tomorrow and Friday. And you have a key, and later this summer we'll all get together. You put your key in the car. If it starts the car, that car is yours, all right?
Hell yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're
Nice.
very welcome. Hold on. Tomorrow, once again, I feel bad for everyone who could not make it through today, but tomorrow,
Dilemma.
is the song you're listening for, and that's going to happen with us. Well, let's give
7:30 to 7:45.
All right, so go ahead. Make a note. Reminder right now, tomorrow, 7:30, 7:45, when you hear Green Day's Dilemma, call us up, get a key, and just like that, can't wait to give away that trip also to Boston. So someone's going to get a car, someone's going to get a trip, and we got bags of cash to give you as well. That will be continuing throughout this entire Corvette summer here at KROQ. But first, let's find out what's going on in the world with your news.
Grab your Adderall. It's time for ADD News. All hail the Onion Queen.
All hell!
Thank you.
On hand.
He was almost at old people secret status, and now he's hitting God's balls. It's Willie Mays. He has passed
What
away.
a beautiful tribute.
You're welcome.
One of the greats.
93 years old. I have walked by the Willie Mays statue in San Francisco, I don't know how many times, having lived there many years, and it has now been turned into a makeshift memorial site. People leaving flowers, taking a moment to appreciate the impact that he has made on the team, on the city, on the sport of baseball. He went even beyond baseball, too. He was given the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2015, and his son put out an announcement, said, "My father passed away peacefully and among loved ones, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my broken heart," which I thought was a strange choice of words because that's a Britney Spears song. But anyways, rest in peace, Willie Mays.
It's probably a dig on Timberlake. Worked in one more dig on Justin Timberlake.
It's all about Timberlake
throwing
right
those
now.
Britney Spears lyrics out there. You know what quote they should have used? They should have used this quote from Allie.
So you can understand that I'm a weird pervert. No,
That's a beautiful quote.
I don't even remember why I said that.
Probably because you were listening to erotica this morning in your car in the parking lot
You're
here
right.
at 5
I
in the
am a
morning.
weird pervert. So you can understand that I'm a weird pervert.
Great. If anyone wants that quote for a tribute, you can use it.
All right, people are still upset about the abrupt closing of the iconic Arby's in Hollywood.
Oh.
closed over the weekend without notice after 55 years. It's funny how this location has also been turned into a makeshift memorial. People are going there to take their last photos of the restaurant and of the iconic Arby's sign. And there's been a lot of talk now about what will happen to that sign. It's almost more important than the restaurant itself. They said this is a piece of Hollywood memorabilia. It's not. A lot of people were worried if it was going to get the wrecking ball treatment, but the guy who owns that land said it's going to stay up for the time being until we figure out where it's going to go next. And the Museum of Neon Arts in Glendale has already expressed interest in buying the sign and putting it in their museum.
I never would have thought that the Arby's on Sunset would be the new go-to place for pictures, the same way that dumb pink wall is in all these. Like, I don't think it's the same type of people that are going for the picture.
A brown hat sometimes has just as much importance.
I see the people that go outside that stupid pink wall in West Hollywood.
And they all do the two-piece signs.
And everyone's like jumping and the double peace signs. I don't think it's the same people. Like, all right, quick, get in the car now. We got to make it to... Get in front of that Arby's.
But not buy anything.
No. Just stand by the sign outside.
Yep. All right. How old do you feel versus how old you are can be two different things. And the older you get, the bigger that gap can get. A new study shows that the average 45-year-old person feels 12 years older than their actual age. And even people in their 20s claim that they feel much older than they are. The number one reason for this is, it's in every commercial on the Hallmark Channel, joint pain. General achiness. 85% of people, regardless of whether they're young or old, experience some kind of joint pain, and that is what makes them feel older than they actually are. It's the aches and the ugh. I've been sitting and now my back hurts, or my shoulder aches, and it's going to rain tomorrow.
A lot of people say that there are certain people that constantly complain. I saw this guy, video was going viral yesterday on TikTok. This guy said, how come every hot chick I ever meet constantly has headaches, complains their stomach hurts, and has weird random bruises on their legs?
Probably because they're malnourished.
And that's what a lot of the people in the comments said. But then other people have said things like, why can I used to be able to sleep great. Like, sleeping was never an issue, and then all of a sudden can't sleep. But I think it's less to do with age and more to do with the way that we're all living our lives. Yeah, we're just not shutting down.
Exactly.
There's no shutdown.
We're so overstimulated, we can't shut our brains down.
Today is a national holiday, a government holiday, yet they told us, we can't tell you to come in and work, but you should come in and work, is what they said. For legal reasons.
Isn't that fun? Just a solid guilt trip.
Thanks for watching some of our radio show. We've got to get these cameras back to Best Buy before the 30 days runs out. So in the meantime, you can check out our radio show, which is available to listen to every day live on KROQ or the podcast.
Yes, if you download and subscribe to the podcast, you can save a morning show in need.
That's us.
We're very much in need. We're thirsty. Thirst trap.